Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 134, and I'm Lisa, your host, also known as Fiber Nymph, on Ravelry, Plurk, and Instagram. Today is Wednesday, September 10th. It's the 10th of September already, like the double digits. I love September. It's my favorite month. It's my birthday month too, but I love September. And there was one other year in recent history that I had to be out of town at the beginning of September. So I kind of felt like I missed a chunk of the month that I really love to enjoy here at home. Don't ask me why, but that's what happened again this year because I was, away with Emma last week, and I kind of missed the beginning of September here at home. Maybe it's a school thing. The school year starts in September generally, and I'm so used to that pattern after so many years of, being in school and then homeschooling. And it's just, it feels like it sets the tone. It's almost like a brand new year, except in September. So I like to be here for it. So the fact that the first 10 days of it are already gone, it's kind of annoying to me, but that's okay. We've still got 20 days left, and I intend to enjoy every last one of them. Okay, let's see. We had someone introduce themselves on the 90% knitting board since I recorded last, so I'd like to say hello to Aurelia from Switzerland. Hi, I love your name. There's a character in the movie Love Actually named Aurelia, and I've always thought that was a really, really pretty name. So anyway, glad to have you with us. Okay, let's talk about knitting. I got a lot of knitting done while I was away, and I'm going to tell you about our trip a little bit later. But I'm going to start by showing you the knitting that I managed to accomplish. First of all, I finished the first Velma sock. Sorry, I did not put it on sock blocker, but here it is in all its glory. This is the Vanilla Bean sock pattern by Emily O'Grady, and the yarn is from 3U's Twisted in Fiber, their euphoric sock base in the Velma colorway. So I finished the first one. I'm very happy with it. It fits wonderfully. I did a traditional heel flap heel with the heel turn and everything. This is really my favorite heel to do. I like afterthought heels, especially with stripes, but I was just in the mood to do a regular heel, so that's what I did. So the first one is finished, and then I made major progress on the second one while I was away. It's funny, all the orientation sessions, like I was at these for a day and a half, I knit through all of them, and this is what I was knitting on. Was the sock, because the only other project I had with me had a lace chart with it. You can't do that during those kind of workshops, but the sock was perfect, and it was so funny because inevitably at least one person in each session that I was at asked me, what are you doing, or what are you making, or oh, you're crocheting. It's like, no. But it was amusing because the first day, one of the sessions I was at, the parent sessions, they made us do icebreakers. Yeah, parent icebreakers. That was a lot of fun because, us introverts love doing things like that. I kind of wanted to say, hey, I kind of come with my own icebreaker because I knit during things and people talk to me. So, that's a comfortable icebreaker for me, but it wasn't that bad, really. Anyway, so I did get the whole cuff done, and I did the heel flap and the heel turn, and I picked up stitches for my gusset. So I'm starting the gusset decreases, and actually the heel turn, I think I did that after I came back because I had a doctor's appointment the other morning, and I took this with me for that too. So I'm pretty sure that's when I did that. Trying to think. Anyhow, obviously I did not make too much progress on it at the doctor's office, but it is coming along, and I'm very happy with them. Very happy autumnal colors. So that was my one project. And as I had talked to you about last time, I was going to do the elm leaves wristlets. It's an Ann Hansen pattern. My my pattern got wet the very first day we were down. We got to the hotel on Labor Day because we drove down that Monday. So we got there mid-afternoon. We made really good time. It was only an 8-hour drive, and it was a real easy drive. And so once we got to the hotel and got settled in there, Emma met up with her roommate who's going to be her roommate at school, or who is her roommate at school. And so while they were hanging out, I went and sat out in the courtyard. There was this really nice courtyard right outside the hotel, and the school's buildings are, actually I think the school owns the hotel too, or at least the property. I don't know how that works. At any rate, it's a DoubleTree. So, but there's like a couple of the school buildings are right around there, and then there's this big courtyard with all these really pretty multicolored Adirondack chairs sitting around. So I went outside to sit and knit because it was later in the day. It wasn't too hot. Well, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden sprinklers go off because the perimeter of the grassy areas where the chairs are, and I was startled when they went off, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm really glad I wasn't sitting any further up or I would have gotten wet. Well, as they kind of came around, you know how sprinklers do that, the ones from to the right of me did go off, or else they moved direction or something, and it like hit me. My pattern got all wet. That was a long way of telling you that. At any rate, elm leaves. The elm leaves wristlet pattern. I did take this along, and it's, you know what, the chart is really easy. It was not a problem for me to work on this while I was away. Where's, oh, the rest of it's over here, sorry. Yeah, it's just a 10-row chart, really simple, very intuitive once you get into it, so I've been able to follow it. But here is my progress so far, and I did decide, well, I didn't decide, Emma chose, because these are going to be for her eventually. This is the I've Been Impaled colorway from Spartacus Dyes in her Will and Grace sock base, and I'm loving it. I love the colors of this yarn. I think this looks very antique-y, this colorway. I don't know why, but that's what it makes me think of, just a very antique look to it. And the lace adds to that too. And I'll tell you what, my favorite color in this whole yarn is these little pops of this rosy pink that are in it. I don't know how well you can see them. They're not really coming out pink in the, but like right here, that. They come up every once in a while, and it is just the prettiest color of pink. I'm not usually like a pink yarn person, but I love these little pops of pink that are in here. It's really, really pretty. Anyway, there are 3 chart repeats on each cuff, and I am almost through the 3rd one at this point. It kind of looks like a hot mess. You can't really even see the pattern too well. I don't know, can you? Yeah, not until it's blocked. You won't really be able to see it. But I'm using fingering weight yarn instead of the lace weight that the pattern calls for, so it's looking a little chunkier than these. These look very delicate. This is a little chunkier, but I think it'll be fine. And I was worried because there's 90 stitches on here right now, but there is actually a big decrease round, so it goes down to I think like 48 stitches, so it'll definitely be tight enough on the wrist even with the larger needles. And it does go down a needle size as well, so we'll be good to go with that. So I made decent progress on that, I thought. I was happy with that. And those were the 2 projects that I worked on while I was away, for the most part. I did not take any of my big projects. I knew I wasn't going to. I thought about taking a sleeve for my sweater to work on, but I did not. And this was fine. I have, however, worked on the Shandai, the Shandai sweater a little bit since I've been home. Actually, I was working on it this morning a little bit. So here's the pattern. It's the Shandai cardigan. It's a really dark picture. Let me see if I can find the lighter one. Where is it? Here it is. So, cabled sweater by Triona Murphy. And I have gotten the 2nd cable chart done now. So, or not chart, it's not charted, but the 2nd cable repeat is now finished. So, and I did the 1st set of waist decreases as well. You start those at like 4 inches in. It's going very smoothly. I like how it's turning out. Sorry, it's all twisted up here. There we go. I love the color. We've talked about this. This is one of my favorite colors, these golds and yellows. So it's coming along nicely. No complaints so far. The pattern's really well written. I have made notes because you are doing your waist decreases as you're working through the body part, obviously, and you're following the instructions for the horseshoe cable. And so I have things kind of mapped out ahead of time, so I know when I need to do what. So I just have my little notes written on the margin of my pattern. And hopefully I won't miss anything important. So far so good on that. And that is all I've worked on. I haven't had any time to put into the Industrial Revolution shawl since I got home. And I haven't spun. Just haven't had the time. So that's it for the knitting. However, I will be starting to work, hopefully, on my never-ending Afghan that I usually work on during the football season. So the regular season football started this past weekend. The Steelers eked out a win at the very end. I mean, come on. Okay, you're winning 24-3 at halftime, and then you're suddenly tied 24-24. Come on, guys. You need to do better than that. I don't need those kind of heart attacks. I did start a new football thread, by the way, in the 90% knitting group. We had an old one, and I don't think it's even been used for a couple of years, so I started a new one. So if anybody wants to chat about football, chat about what you're knitting with football while you watch football, you know, do you guys have any family traditions around football games, whether it's, it doesn't even have to be professional football. If you're big college football fans, I'd love to hear about it. Any favorite foods? For me, one of the most traditional football game foods is Reubens. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. My mom used to make them when we watched football. That was like the big thing. Sundays she would make Reubens and would watch the football games. So that's kind of my idea of football food. And of course, anything buffalo, like buffalo wings, buffalo dip, buffalo anything is good for football games. So anyway, go check that thread out if you'd like to chime in. But anyway, that's the other project that I'm going to add into my rotation right now. And I'm going to actually show this thing to you, because I don't think I showed it to you last year when I brought it out. I have to stand up for this, so hang on. This sits in my living room underneath one of my end tables. I have to scooch down now. One of my end tables has like a, you know, a shelf on the bottom. So this bin fits in there perfectly. And when Babette was a kitten, she used to love to climb up in there and just sleep on top of this Afghan. All right, where is it? Here we go. Okay. Here it is in all its glory. And that's actually the ugly side, because that's got some ends. Actually, there's probably ends on both sides that I'm going to have to weave in. So there it is. I know you can't really get a whole idea of how big it is. Here's all my yarn. And the other set of needles, because I knit it off of one needle onto the other needle. It's impossible to do circularly. Okay. I just wanted to show that to you because it's been a while and I've been working on it. I started it in 2011, June 2011. Holy moly. It was not a football project back then. But it's just a garter stitch Afghan. It's being worked lengthwise, and I tried to measure it today. I mean, it's ridiculously long. I cast on way too many stitches when I started it. It's approximately 104 inches long, which is over 8 feet. My original plan was for it to cover the top of my queen size bed. My queen size bed is not 8 feet long, so it could actually go from the very top of it all the way over the bottom and not quite touch the floor, but close. Actually, with the fringe, it probably will touch the floor. So it's crazy long. It weighs a ton. I mean, there's a lot of yarn in that. And right now it's about 32 inches wide. I don't remember how many stitches I cast on. A lot. Way too many. A lot. But it is about 32 inches wide. My bed is 60 inches wide, so if I'm just putting it over the top of the bed, it's about halfway, a little over halfway. And I've just been pulling, I pull out balls randomly, and I usually hold 2 together, unless it's a super thick yarn. I hold 2 skeins together, 2 strands together, and knit down, and as I'm doing it, I'm creating the fringe at the end. And then the next time down, I pick 2 other yarns and I just keep rotating through the basket. There's no rhyme or reason, no plan. It's completely spontaneous, which makes it a really fun project. Every once in a while, since it's going to be so huge and I didn't have nearly enough yarn to finish it with the yarn that I originally started with, I add in new yarns occasionally so they can get mixed into the whole batch, and I won't suddenly see a stop and a start with new stuff. But blues and purples are the predominant colors. I love how there's random colors in there too, though. They just pop in every once in a while with some of the other yarns. So it's a fun project. It's just a huge and big project, and considering how large it is, I can't work on it any other time than when it's cool, because I would die of heat stroke. I don't know. Crazy project, but it's back out, so hopefully I'll make some headway on it. Hopefully someday I'll actually finish it. That would be awesome. We'll see. Alrighty, that is all of my knitting for this time. Let's talk about the head to toe KAL. We finished the August one. I got that thread closed while I was away and opened the September thread, so you can be posting pictures in the September thread. Wait a minute. Did I? Oh yeah, sorry. I'm looking at the page making sure I did start the September thread, didn't I? I was trying to do this while I was away, and I could not connect to the Wi-Fi at the hotel unless I wanted to go down to the lobby, or if I wanted to pay $10 a day. I was not paying $10 a day to do Wi-Fi from my room when I wasn't even going to be in the room that often. I just wasn't doing it. So I was doing most of everything I had to do business-wise and with this stuff from my phone. So I could use, just the 4G connection that I have. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, I did start the September thread, so you can be posting pictures of your finished arms and hands projects for this month. But I closed August, and we had 142 entries. So we're 143 posts altogether. So 142 entries, because the first post was mine. Now, some of these... I'm trying to think. I believe I have verified that all of these were actually done within the month of August. I was trying to do that as they went up. I will double check that when I pull winners. And it would probably only be the last little batch that I might not have checked since I was away. But yeah, it has to have been a project that was started and finished in August. I've said this a million times, but just reiterating. So I'm going to pull 2 winners, and I'm going to use the random number generator to do that, which I did not bring up. Okay, so it's going to be between numbers 2 and 143. I did have to delete some posts, so it is conceivable that a number will be generated that there isn't actually a post there, because it was not an eligible project due to the dates. So if that's the case, I'll just keep pulling until I win. There will be 2 winners. I was going to print out a picture and I didn't. I'm sorry. 2 winners, first of all. The first prize, not first prize, but the first of 2 prizes is going to be the No Ziggity Mitts pattern by Brittany Jackson. Brittany was kind enough to donate a copy of her pattern for one of our prizes, so thank you very much, Brittany. So one of our winners will get the No Ziggity pattern from Brittany, and that was what I was going to print out. I was going to print out a picture of it from Ravelry, and I forgot. I'm sorry, but just go on Rav, you'll find it. It's a really cute zigzaggy mitt pattern. I'd actually kind of like to make a pair myself. I love that chevron look. So that's the first prize, and then the second prize, the second of 2 prizes, is going to be a skein of my Bonafide yarn in the Manic Camo colorway. This is a DK weight yarn, and so you will get that, and DK weight is an awesome weight to make mitts. So if you haven't even started your September project, this would be a perfect thing to use for it if you want something new. So, all right, I'm going to generate 2 numbers. The first winner will get the No Ziggity pattern from Brittany, and that is number 62. So let's see, number 62 would probably be on page 3, and that is you knitted skeins, and that's Angie from Germany. So congratulations, Angie. I'm going to write that down, number 62. So Angie, once you see this, PM me on Ravelry and let me know that you're the winner, and then I will hook you up with Brittany. I'll let her know you're the winner, and she will gift you that pattern. So yay, congratulations. And her finished object was a trellis scarf, which is actually very beautiful. Actually, as if I would think it wouldn't be, but I'm just saying it's a very beautiful scarf. So congratulations on your win. All right, let me do the second one, and this one will be for the yarn. Number 101. So let me get up here. That would be on page 5, I believe. Yep, the first one on page 5. And the winner for that one is TGW from East. No name included, but TGW from East. If you see this, this is your prize. You have won the Skein of Manic Camo in the Bonafide base. So please PM me with your mailing address, and I will get your prize sent out to you. So congratulations to both of our winners. I'll write that number down as well. Congratulations, and thank you for participating in the knit along. Thank you to everybody who participated and posted pictures. I appreciate you taking part in that, and please continue to take part because we've got 2 more months left. We've got this month, which is our hands and arms, as well as small shrugs. I know, weird, but that's what I decided at the beginning. And then October is our last month, and October will be anything for legs and feet. And of course, we've also got our full body, our whole body object, large body object, which is running the full 4 months. So as long as it was started on or after July 1st and is finished on or before October 31st, it qualifies. That's a bigger object. You can read all of the guidelines in the main thread about the knit along. I just want to say, because I know there's been questions, and I'm noticing some like disagrees on some pictures people are posting. I don't understand that. You know, I am keeping track of the projects that are being posted as finished objects. If there's an issue, I will definitely be talking to the people who are putting them in. You know, the large body object isn't a real firm, like it has to be this many yards. There's some leeway in that. I mean, it has to be an adult-sized garment, so a sweater, a vest, a dress, or something more than what you're going to be knitting for all of these smaller monthly knit-alongs. I mean, the neck and upper back one, some of those shawls were large enough. I think there was a few that probably would have qualified for the full body object. You can't put it in both. You have to pick one. But, I think I used 1,000 yards as sort of a guideline. If you're a small person and it doesn't take 1,000 yards to knit yourself a sweater, then obviously your full body object is not going to have 1,000 yards to qualify for that. That part of the knit along. There's wiggle room in it, and if you have a question and you're not sure what you're working on qualifies, please PM me. I'll let you know. I'm trying to make this fun. It doesn't have to be super tight on every regulation. I don't want it to be that regimented. The biggest regimentation part is the dates. It does have to be done within the specified dates. That's really the biggest thing. But that large body item, there's going to be some play in the number of yards, just because not everything is going to be 1,000 yards, and I understand that. There's some really pretty large shawls that might only be 600 yards, but that's still more than like a small shawlette that basically uses 400 or less. So, do you get my drift? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, alrighty. Oh, the last thing I wanted to tell you in the 90% part, this is very exciting, is I am back on iTunes again. Yay! this has been a long process. If you've been watching over the last several months, you know that, Blip did their thing. They quit feeding to iTunes. So it took a while before they quit dropping everybody. And mine was one of the last ones that seemed to fall off of the iTunes wagon. I did restart. I started publishing again. I still published to Blip, but I started publishing to Podcast Garden so that I could get the podcast back up on iTunes. It ended up just being it wasn't even a lengthy, time-consuming progress so much as the process didn't want to work for me for whatever reason, and then I was busy and didn't have time to keep following up with it. But the bottom line is I got it up there. It's done. You should be able to find me when you search on iTunes now. I have not tried it since I did this, since I was away and everything, but I've heard a few other people tell me that they've been able to find the podcast on iTunes again, so yay for that. Hopefully that takes care of all the issues now, and we can just go on our merrily on our way and watch podcasts and not have to worry about it. Okay, that is everything for 90%. I do have book reviews. I've told you I've got these books that Cooperative Press have sent me. I downloaded all of them to my tablet before I left on the trip, thinking I was going to have all this time while I was away that I could just sit and peruse books on my tablet in my hotel room. That did not happen. This is a good segue into the 10% part. Our trip to Emma's school last week. Like I said, we left Labor Day Monday, and she drove the first leg. I love going places with her because she doesn't mind driving. My son hates driving. My middle child, youngest son, he hates driving on the interstate. So when we go and play with him, he tends to not want to drive. Emma loves to drive. She's good at driving, so yay. But we took turns driving. Like I said, it was about 8 hours. Perfect driving day. There was a little bit of rain, mostly up north, but once we got into the south, it was fine. Got into the hotel. She hooked up with her roommate right away. I was there for superfluous in her life. But yeah, it was fun. Tuesday morning, she got to move into her dorm, and that went amazingly smoothly because there was a lot of check-in stuff that we had to do that morning, and no one person seemed to know exactly where the order was for that. Like, everybody knew their part and maybe what came right before it, but we didn't know exactly where to start, and what they communicated to us didn't clearly tell us. But once we got it figured out, and we did do a few things, I think, out of order, but once we got it figured out, it moved really smoothly. She got all of her check-in stuff done and her school ID, and we got all of our packets of information and everything, and got her moved into the room all within an hour and a half. So that was amazing to me how well it moved once we really got it going. So that was Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon started orientation for both of us. And the first session was together, and then after that we were pretty much separate for the rest of the day. They provided dinner for us on Tuesday, which was nice. Oh my goodness, she will not starve. If she starves while she's at school, it's her own fault, because the cafeteria or the dining hall or whatever, their food was phenomenal. It was so good. It's a culinary school. I mean, it's got a culinary element. They don't actually make the food for the dining hall. Obviously, they have a company that I guess does the cooking. It's wonderful and very healthy selections, and just amazing. So dinner, and then she had stuff to do in the evening, and I think I had another. Oh, that was the night of the icebreakers. The parent icebreakers. It was funny. There was the whole room of us. The lady up front, she's like, okay, when I say icebreakers, what do you guys think? And everybody just sat there like, are you serious? But it wasn't that bad. I can push myself out of my comfort zone to do that kind of stuff if I have to, and I did, and it was fine. But it was nice to go back to my hotel room afterwards and just crash by myself. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday was a full day of orientation stuff. I mean, all day. And we got all 3 meals that day. Again, excellent food. I think I put on Emma's freshman 15 just in those 2 days eating. It felt like it anyway. So yeah, that was Wednesday, I'm sorry. Wednesday evening, I took her on a Target run because she determined some things that she hadn't brought with her that we needed to pick up. So we found Target, we found Chipotle, which we did not eat there, but we happened to pass the Chipotle, and she was very excited because she loves Chipotle. So she was glad to know where it was, and I think she's already eaten there once. And then Thursday, we had her GI appointment with the doctor she's going to be working with down there. So we found that really fast and easy, and that appointment went fairly quickly too. So we did that, and we left, and we ate, and I dropped her off, and I headed on my merry way east, where I went and, oh, I did actually stop at a yarn shop. That's what I did. After I dropped her off, I found Charlotte Yarn, I believe was the name of the store. I mainly bought a couple sets of needles. That was all I bought. And, you know, it was a very nice store. The woman who waited on me was very, very nice. And we talked a lot about Johnson & Wales and about the school and everything and the area. So it was a very nice little shop. Hopefully the next time I'm down there, I'll get to check out one of the other ones. But anyway, then I got on my way and I went over to Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is where my oldest son lives. And I spent the evening with him and his girlfriend and her children. And they cooked out, you know, grilled, and dinner was fabulous. Again, it was like all of the eating. Oh my goodness. Because Emma and I went to IHOP that morning after her doctor's appointment. And then Friday morning before I left to come home, Zach and I went to IHOP again. And a lot of IHOPing. I love IHOP. We don't have one really, really close to me, so whenever I'm someplace where they have them, I like to eat there. And then I drove home, and it's about a 10-hour drive from Jacksonville to get home. It's almost always a 10-hour drive. There's no faster route. I've never found one. So, but again, it was a really good driving day. I just entertained myself listening to my audiobook, and it was fine. Got home, I don't know, probably 8:30, I think. And I was really glad to be back home in my own bed. It was a good trip, but I was glad to be home. I'm so traveled out this year between all these work trips I've done this summer and this trip, and I know I'll probably be heading back down to North Carolina to pick Emma up for Thanksgiving if she can't arrange another ride, so that's going to be another long drive. There's also a homecoming weekend in October, which I would really, really like to be able to go down for that. It's like homecoming/family weekend. I already told her, though, I'm just not sure I can do that. I mean, that's a lot of expense for just one weekend because it's the drive both ways plus a hotel for 2 nights. And the only day we'd really get to spend with her would be Saturday. And I know her brother would probably love to go, but I don't know if he can swing it either. So I don't know. It's a maybe, but a probably not, unfortunately. So we'll see. But yeah, anyway, she's at school. She's settled in. She has taken off fabulously with running her own life, and I have no worries that she's going to have any problems. I think she's going to be really fine. It was funny. Her classes didn't start till yesterday, so I got this text from her yesterday morning. She sent me a picture of herself. Her roommate must have taken it, you know, dressed for the first day of school, and she had her books, and her message was, "First day of school picture, you're never too old." Just like, oh, it's so heartwarming. I was so thankful that she thought to do that, because really as homeschoolers, we did not take a lot of first day of school pictures over the years. I think I did one last year because she had started going to the community college to do some classes. So I think I did take one there that year, but it was just nice of her to do that, and it was fun to get that picture. So she's doing well. And I'm home and adjusting to the new normal. I'll tell you what, and I don't know, maybe those of you who have already had your nest emptied and you're home alone, maybe you can associate with this, because it's really hard to explain to people sometimes. The quiet that is in my house now with her gone to school is quieter than the quiet that was in my house when I was home alone, but she still lived here, and I knew she'd be home later in the day or whatever. I don't know why that is. And it probably doesn't make any sense to you if you've never experienced it. I'm hoping somebody else has experienced it just so that they can say, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because so far I've only ever really explained it to people who also have kids still at home, and they're like, I don't get it. But it's a different quiet. It really is. Like, the silence is really silent. Like, you know that nobody's going to be walking in the door suddenly, or nobody's going to be getting up out of bed at, 10 o'clock, or sleeping in and then suddenly making noise. It's just me here, home, alone, all day long, and it's cool. I love it. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. It's just, it has a different quality. So it's part of my new normal, I guess. But that and grocery shopping. I went grocery shopping the other day, and, I bought all the stuff that I make for dinners that I like. I didn't have to do any shopping for her. It was all, it's just a different thing, and I'm enjoying it. Like, I can get up. I mean, I'm up early anyway. I'm up super early most days, but usually when I get up, like, I don't want to start doing things that are going to make noise early, to get work going or whatever, because she was still sleeping. Well, now it doesn't matter. I can, like, start dying at 5:30 in the morning if I want to, because I can, and nobody cares. The dog doesn't care if I make noise. The cat doesn't care. So it's fun. I'm enjoying this new normal, new phase of life. Life goes on, and you move with it. Currently, life still involves canning tomatoes. I canned a second batch of tomatoes right after I got home that Saturday. 6 more quarts. So, and there's probably more down there that I could pick and start canning again. And football season started. I mentioned that earlier. The Steelers, they need to get it together a little bit and not do stupid stuff. It was funny. I was dying on Sunday when the game was on, and so I didn't actually think to turn the game on until partway into the second quarter. I turned it on pretty much just in time to watch Ben throw his first interception of the year. Wonderful. So, I don't know. But I love football, and I love my Steelers, even when they play crappy. I don't always watch them when they're playing really crappy, but I still appreciate them and support them. So, okay, that is everything for the 90% section. There will be a shop update this weekend, or this Friday, I'm sorry. This Friday, September 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to pause now, go get everything for the shop preview, and I will be right back. If you're not going to stick around for that, then I'll say goodbye now, and I will see you the next time I record. But if you're going to stick around for the shop news segment, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is the shop news segment of the show. And I wanted to let you know that if you ordered anything while I was away last week out of the shop, that it did get shipped on Monday. So everything that was ordered last week, unless it was something that's a special order, like Inversibles or something, has been shipped to you, so it should be on its way. You may have already received it, actually. What else? I don't think I really have any of the shop news per se, other than the fact that there will be an update on Friday, this Friday, which is September 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So let me show you what I will be putting up. It's a lot of self-striping. Well, yeah, it's not a particularly large update, but there's a nice variety. So let me just show you. Okay, first of all, in my Heavenly base. I haven't put this in the shop in a while, so I was happy to have the chance to do that. My Heavenly base is my MCN base, the merino cashmere nylon, so it's superwash. So there will be some soft kitty. I will also have soft kitty in the bedazzled base and in the bounce base. So there's a nice amount of soft kitty going up in the shop this week. This colorway, this is one of my very first colorways I ever did. I don't dye it that often for the shop, but I kind of felt like doing it. And this one is called Caramel Mint. Yeah, it's got this great mint green, and then there's the lighter green, and then there's the brown for the caramel. So anyway, Caramel Mint, there'll be a couple of those. Highlighters, which you've seen. Favorite Flannel Jammies, which you've seen. I love doing this colorway on my MCN base, because you think of favorite flannel jammies as being something squishy and soft and warm and comfy, and this yarn is so much that. So I love doing that. There will be a couple skeins of Fruit Loops on the Heavenly base. I also have Fruit Loops on Bedazzled going up in this shop. And then Fervent Fjord. Sorry. I had a little blip there. Couldn't remember. But yes, there will be a couple skeins of Fervent Fjord also going up in the MCN base. So that is that. And then also on Bounce. Is this the only other one I have going up on Bounce? I think so. Besides the Soft Kitty. I did up a couple skeins of Snow in the Forest. Or, yeah, Snow in the Forest. Which I'll be doing more of this colorway when I start doing like my Christmas and winter colorways. I just happen to have this set already wound in the right striping pattern for it, and I thought, why not? So this is Snow in the Forest striping. I also do this as a variegated sometimes, but this is the striping. Also in self-striping sock, there will be 3 sets of Nyan Cat. Yes, I'm finally able to start putting this in the shop again, since it has already gone out to everybody on the waiting list that I had for a long time. So I told you I was going to start putting it on the shop, or in the shop. So there will be 3 sets available this week. I'm going to say up front, I will not do Nyan Cat as a special order. I'm sorry, I just won't, because I can't guarantee how quickly I can get it done. I'm going to put it in the shop as often as I can, but other than that, I won't be able to take special orders for it. I'm sorry for any inconvenience that causes you, but I'm just not going to do that. I have 2 new colorways for you this week, and I've done both of them in both self-striping and in variegated. So, and these are both inspired by the flowers that I grew in my garden this year. You've heard me talk about my flowers and how happy I am with my flowers, but I really wanted to do colorways based on those. So the first one I'm calling Zinnias, because these are some of the fun colors of zinnias that I was able to grow this year. So this is a 5 striper, and this is on the Heavenly base, the MCN base. So there will be a couple skeins of this, and then I also did a couple skeins in a variegated. So that's variegated, self-striping, and this is on the Sunshine base. And then I did one on my sunflower, based on my sunflowers. So this is, I'm calling this Sunflowers at Sunset. I believe I put that picture at the end of last week's podcast where I had the flower garden, like you could see the flower section of my garden at sunset. So this is my Sunflowers at Sunset, and I loved having these deep reddish orange sunflowers as well as the bright yellow ones. This is also a 5 striper. And I also did it on some Sunshine as a variegated as well. So I love how both of these colorways turned out, and I love both versions of them. So if I had to pick which one I liked the best, I couldn't, because I really, really love them all. And I hope you will too. So anyway, they will be going up in the shop. I'll have everything going up in preview mode coming up here in the next day or 2. Additionally, I have a couple of one-offs that I did with just some extra dye. So there will be this one. This one actually sort of reminds me as a Christmassy colorway. That's on the Sunshine base, one of a kind. And I do think there is only one of these. There are 2 of these, and this is the Elegance Lace Weight base. And these actually are really, these are the colors that I use when I do mint chocolate chip. However, the brown is much more diluted than it usually is in mint chocolate chip. So I'm not calling it mint chocolate chip as a variegated. I'm calling it one of a kind. There are 2 skeins of this one of a kind. But those are the basic colors. So if you like those colors, you might like that. And then lastly, I have 3 more fingering weight gradients. And these are, all 3 of these are monochromatics. These just were not ready the last time when I did an update and I had all those gradients in there, but they're ready now. So there's one silver gray, or silver green, I'm sorry, one violet, and one charcoal gray. So that is everything. Everything will be up in the shop. I'm going to say hopefully by the end of tomorrow. That's my goal. I still have to photograph everything and get the listings put up. But then they'll be up, and the update will be on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's September 12th. And I hope you find something that you like. So let me know what you think about the new colorways. I absolutely adore them, and I can't wait to dye more of them. Anyway, alrighty, that is it. Oh, I will tell you, if you're looking ahead for other shop updates coming up, there will probably not be another shop update until the very end of September. I have 2 really huge wholesale orders that I'm trying to get done and get out. And so that's probably where the majority of my dyeing time is going to be going in the next couple of weeks. But I do plan on doing one more update in the month of September. But it just won't be for a couple of weeks. So just letting you know. But anyway, that's it for this week. I will try to record again next week and let you know what's going on. Maybe I'll have a book review for you next week. We'll see. Alrighty, that's it. Have a good day and happy knitting, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.